What is up, guys? It's your boy, Explosive Cactus, and today we are going to be showcasing some weapons that you absolutely want to acquire, get the god rolls for, infuse, find the right shader, everything you need to do to prepare for the launch of the upcoming Lightfall expansion and the start of Season 20 within Destiny 2. Now, why is that? Well, all of these weapons are heavy grenade launchers, and recently Bungie unveiled the weapons getting either buffed or nerfed when Lightfall launches. And frankly, heavy grenade launchers are the biggest winners of that entire update. They are getting some significant improvements and very well could end up being a part of the meta when the next season starts. So, what exactly is changing with heavy grenade launchers? Well, first and foremost, they've increased the damage versus champions, mini-bosses, bosses, and vehicles by 20%, and then miners by 40%. That's a significant damage increase. To put that into perspective, guys, Focused Fury, when you get half of the magazine as precision hits, is going to provide a 20% damage bonus. So think about that. You basically have Focused Fury always active all the time on heavy grenade launchers against, the enemies you actually want to be doing more damage against, bosses, champions, etc. Yeah, that's a pretty big deal. But they're actually doing even more. They've also improved the projectile collision, making it slightly easier to land hits, and they just straight up increased the blast radius overall by 1 meter. So they're doing significantly more damage, they're easier to use, and they have more killing potential against groups of ads. Oh, and they synergize with some of the best weapons in the game, special grenade launchers, because your grenade launcher finders and scavengers are gonna work for both at the same time. So stuff like the Wither Horde, the Forbearance, or heck any other wave frame, blinding grenade launchers, these are the top of the meta. And speaking of the top of the meta, their competition, Linear Fusions, are getting nerfed at the same time. These are getting a huge buff. So let's talk about which ones you should be going after. First and foremost, guys, some exotics. I can't believe I'm saying this. I can't believe there wasn't an exception made for this weapon, but we have the ANARCHY heavy grenade launcher. Yeah, there was no little line, oh, excludes the ANARCHY. This weapon, one of the most iconic and powerful weapons in the entire game, able to provide damage over time, incredibly useful in so much endgame content. This should just straight up be getting a 20% damage buff next season. There has been years, literally years, where the ANARCHY has ruled over the PvE meta, so anytime this is getting a buff, you absolutely need to pay attention, so definitely time to dust off the ANARCHY. Moving on from there, guys, another interesting exotic here is actually going to be the PROSPECTOR. This is currently one of the least used exotics in the game, however, it has some quirks that make it actually have a pretty significant damage output. So, this is actually the only 165 rounds per minute archetype of grenade launcher in the game that used to be the same rate of fire as rapid fire frame grenade launchers, but they were too powerful and they were switched all to 150. So the PROSPECTOR is the last true rapid fire grenade launcher in the game. So it can spit out a ton of damage really fast, not to mention it has a catalyst that significantly increases its blast radius and gives it more reserves. Oh, and it also has projectiles that do damage over time, which is going to add overall to your damage output. So yeah, this thing is just kind of waiting in the wings, ready to actually be a very high burst DPS weapon. But moving on from there, guys, let's talk about the legendaries I am definitely personally excited for. I'm taking them out of the vault, I'm getting them ready. And first off, it's gotta be the Interference 6. So this is an old world drop weapon from like years ago, but if you're a Destiny vet, you might still have one in your vault because the god rolls were insane on this thing. thing. First of all, you absolutely want spike grenades. That's going to improve your direct impact damage, which is going to improve your damage output overall. Then I have clown cartridge, so reloading improves the magazine size, and then I've got full court, which is going to increase your detonation damage as the projectile travels further before exploding, capping out at 25% more damage at around 50 meters away. So this is just one of them. I actually have another one here with spike grenades and then auto-loading holster, so it's going to reload the weapon automatically if it's stowed, allowing you to do things in damage phases like, spam your interference, then switch to a sniper rifle, unload that, switch back to your interference, it's reloaded, spam that again, keep going back and forth for incredible sustained damage output. And of course, full court to end things off. But I actually have another interference here, this time with spike grenades, and then field prep, which improves my ammo reserves and also gives me significantly faster reload speed when I'm crouched. So, I'm showing all three of these simply because those three perks, clown cartridge, autoloading holster, and field prep, are some of the best, most desirable perks you're looking for on heavy grenade launchers. And you're going to see them a lot in more examples to come. Now, typically, you're going to combine those with a perk to increase the damage. So in this example, full court, but something like explosive light, vorpal weapon, heck, even frenzy, all of that stuff would be fantastic. But let's move on to another old school heavy grenade launcher, the BERENGE'S Memory. So mine here has spike grenades, field prep, and then this is actually one of the only weapons in the game that can get auto-loading holster in the right column. And that, combined with the fact that it's a rapid fire frame, unlike the adaptive frame interference we just looked at, means it can get a lot of damage off very quickly. Now, moving on from there, guys, a much more common world drop weapon, because I think it's still dropping right now, the TYPHON GL5. I bet a lot of you have this. Obviously, you still want spike grenades, and then you can actually get Demolitionist in the first column, which is great because in terms of DPS, you shoot until your mag is empty, you chuck a grenade, you instantly reload. That's pretty powerful, and you can combine that with explosive light for very good DPS, or you can actually get Adrenaline Junkie here instead, which is pretty synergistic with Demolitionist. However, guys, moving on from there, back from Season of the Lost, we have the CANIS Major. This was focusable, a lot of you may still have this, but this can get spike grenades, field prep, or clown cartridge in that first column, and then it can get vorpal weapon, or actually chain reaction if you really want to use it against ads, which is going to be pretty decent. Now, moving on from there, guys, a really important one is the Love and Death. This is a moon weapon, which means it is target farmable. You can go to the Lectern of Enchantment and pick up the exact essence to get this thing over and over and over again. Rapid fire frame, obviously spike grenades, and then I have field prep, but you can also get auto-loading holster or clown cartridge. So all three god tier perks are present, and then you can get full court, which I have, or Demolitionist is another option, or actually chain reaction as well. But then moving on, guys, a weapon that I actually don't have yet because I'm waiting to farm is the Wendigo GL3. This Nightfall weapon was actually added into the loot pool just this season, and it's going to be dropping the Adept version the week before the Lightfall launch, and the Wendigo is insane. So this thing is adaptive frame. If you get the Adept version, it means you can use Adept Big One spec, which is fantastic. Then in the first column, you can get auto-loading holster or field prep or clown cartridge, or interestingly, chain reaction is in the left column, and then you can combine that with explosive light for insane DPS, or full court for crazy DPS, or frenzy, or golden tricorn, and actually it can get the new perk Cascade Point, where final blows or sustained precision hits with another weapon will increase the rate of fire of this weapon. So you could potentially get the role of auto-loading holster combined with Cascade Point and do what I described earlier. You have a sniper rifle, you unload, but then as you're doing damage with your sniper, you're triggering Cascade Point, you switch this weapon, it's going to be reloaded thanks to auto-loading, and then you have an insane rate of fire potentially. Yeah, that could be pretty darn saucy. And guys, the last weapon I'm gonna mention here is a very accessible weapon. It's the Cry Mutiny grenade launcher. This was the seasonal weapon back from Season of the Plunder. Now this isn't the best, it's missing spike grenades, but it's actually pretty decent in a pinch. It can get Demolitionist combined with Vorpal Weapon. So again, if you're somewhat of a newer player, you don't have all these god rolls, but you have the Cry Mutiny, it could serve you pretty darn well until you get some more of these god rolls we've talked about in the video. Guys, that's it for the video. Hope you enjoyed and found this informative. If you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. If you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickCacus. That is linked in the description down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.